The next topic is interface and implementation. Interface means who is in between the user and the hardware is called interface. The best example is interface is encoding systems like binary code, Unicode, ASCII. Those are called interfaces between the user and hardware. Now, every programming languages must use interfaces and also implementation, but the interfaces object always what it can define what the object can do. That means it will give some instruction to the object, but it's really it can't do any work, just it is give the instruction to the objects. Object means arguments, parameters, variables, we can say like that. Implementation means it is carry the instruction is given by the interface. So interfaces just is give the instruction to the object. Implementation it's take over the instruction from the interface and really it can do all the works. For example, switch on the light and light off. If someone says, can you please switch on and switch off, the same process as an interface, but actually who can do the perfectly, who is pressing down the light and who is pressing the up the light, the process who can do that process is called implementation. So now we can understand interface and implementation. In the programming languages, interface and implementation, definitely it is using the class topics. So I can simple addition, add class I wrote here. So class is a keyword and add is a class. So for the addition we need three variables like A, B and C. So in this program we are adding two variables, that is A and B, and we can substitute the value in a C. So we can take the two values A and B and we can store in a C. So those three variables we have to declare those variables in the name of int data type. The private part we are declaring because the private is a declaration part, and the public part is what are the functions we are using for the variables. First function is insert. So insert functions always only it is doing, see the function is opening here and closing here. So insert function always is performing only inserting the values. So see it is inserting A and B, inserting process. And the next function is compute. This function is open from here and closed from here. So only the compute function is done by the compute function. Compute in the sense calculate. See C is equal to the A plus B. So adding function, calculating process is done in this function. The third function is display. So this display is only the output is displaying in this function. So we are writing C out, the output in the name of the output, the value will be display. So the values is substituting A plus B in substitute in a C, so we can just get in the value C. So display function only the performing display of the value. Here we didn't start with the void main. Always C++ is a top down approach. That means the process starts from void main and end with the void main itself. So the void main it starts, we are declaring default object name as a X. That means new object we are creating here. This object X just used for calling those functions. So actually the execution part is only done here and there, void main. So it starts from here and close with here, but inside the functions done over here. We can see how it is. See int I can declare as a X. With the help of the dot operator it is calling this function insert. So when the compiler meet this, it can call the insert function. So what is the insert function is doing? It is calling. And the next when see that ternary operator, you can quit and it come to the next operator function, that is x dot compute. And when the computer seeing this, just is call the compute function here. So it is performing this calculation work is over here. And when it is see the ternary operator, it can move to the display. Now it is cx dot display. The compilers move to display and is performing the display operator. Here this part is the interface is just is give the instruction to the functions. So insert function do this, and compute you do this, display you do this. Just instruction is given by the interface, that is x. But actually it is who is done the inserting, compute, display these function. Actually who is doing in the sense these class is doing this from here to this, these part the really acting. So in the C++, here is the interface part and here is the implementation. So interface, it is defining, always give the instruction what the object can do, that's all. Implementation take over the instruction from the interface and it is performing the action.